Open Government Committee to order, and we will begin with the City Council agenda for January 28, 2014. Is there anything on page 1?
Just so you know, we are having 9 o'clock starts of closed session for the next 4 weeks, or next 4 council meetings.
Tried to get a move to 8 o'clock. Nobody wanted to.
Page 203. City Clerk, 1.1. I spoke with Councilmember Chu, and we agree that I'm going to have my name on there since Lunar New Year also pertains to the Vietnamese American community here in San Jose.
Noted, we'll change that.
Thank you.
Those are all daytime, right?
So far.
The night show.
Yeah. Page 405. Six or 7. I have a note on here for 3.5 to be heard after the consent items.
Yes, Vice Mayor, we understand that there may be a representative of bargaining units would like to attend, so out of respect for their time, I'd like to make that recommendation.
Okay. Page 8 or 9. Oh, sorry.
Real quick, back on number 6, page 6, 2.13. Do you know if we got an amendment yet on the LAFCO appointments? I think it got inadvertently dropped off that original memo.
Oh.
If you could check, if you don't have a supplemental memo on that, if you could just let me know if it hasn't been.
Get a supplement.
Okay. Okay. Just if it's not, let me know, because I want to make sure we handle it all at the same time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything on 8 or 9? Ten or 11? Twelve or 13? And then we have a couple of additions here. Proclamations for San Jose Firefighters Day, commendation to Taylor Malfi, Mayor's travel to Washington, D.C. and Arizona, and also Councilmember Constance travels to Sacramento and Ontario, Los Angeles. Oh, and there's someone in the back. Also, Councilmember Herrera's travel to Sacramento, Ontario, and Los Angeles. And amendments to the pay plan for Chief of Police and Assistant Police Chief.
Question, are on items 11, are those all consent calendar?
No,
Or there's just nothing on consent calendar? Thank you.
Motion to approve with the adds and amendments.
Second.
David, do you want to speak on this item?
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Item 3.7, actions related to agreements for temporary staffing services for building inspectors, plan review, and related services. What we have here is the foundational argument that might result in you having to change the municipal code to upgrade the classifications of these positions, similarly to what happened at water pollution control. This has the very same footprint as what happened at water pollution control, not being able to staff these positions because of the effects of Measure B and other related takeaways to employees, subsequently having to come in with these heavy-ended temporary employment contracts, and then ending up with doing an end run around Measure B by modifying the municipal code to allow certain reclassifications of employees, reinstating their pay and benefits that should not have been taken away in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it has every indication that it will. Item 9.1 is the long-range property management plan for the successor agency. I think the big issue here is does the state of California compel the city of San Jose to sell properties at basically pennies on the dollars that they bought under the redevelopment agency guidelines? I would suggest that you ask the governor if this is true, not to permit this, that these properties should not be sold for monies less than that which they were purchased. For example, the property across from City Hall was purchased for a little over $11 million and change, and the current high bid is $4,250,000, which results in $7 million and change lost to the taxpayers. But there's even more egregious property losses, as you are aware if you read the report by our honorable successor agency manager. His report's very thorough, and thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the city council agenda for January 28th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We now move to the city council agenda for February 4th, 2014. Anything on page 1? Page 203. Four or 5. Page 6 or 7.
Council District 8 is requesting a time certain for 5.1. I wanted to give you a heads up, but we normally set the time certain next rules.
Okay.
For 3 o'clock, so they can start notifying the public.
Okay. I also have a request from Councilmember Herrera for this item to be heard last, but I mean, we have enough time to next week to decide.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just circle back with Councilmember Herrera to see if she wants a time certain or be the last item on the agenda.
Okay.
So it's been 90 days since we talked about this, or 60 days, whatever. Seems like it went by fast.
Time is flying, yes.
Okay. Mr. Wall?
Item 2.7, continuation of construction tax suspension for office research and development. I'm opposed to this. I think that unless it's quantifiable how much money is actually gained from this plan, you need all this money you can get for DOT because some of it goes directly to their capital program. 3.5, we see an additional issue related to the previous agenda. 3.5 is amendments to the city pay plan for various classifications. Once again, we're having to amend the pay plan to retain competent employees as a direct approximate result of Measure B and the takeaways to employee salaries and benefits. And I wouldn't put it past the necessity to modify the municipal code to reclassify these employees as well, to reinstate the pay grades and benefits required to retain employees of competent stature. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We now move down to item B, review of upcoming study session agendas. Do you have anything planned? Nope. Okay. I believe we have nothing under legislative update and nothing under meeting schedules. We'll now move to the public record. Mr. Wall?
Thank you. As we see by the inventory of documents filed or items filed for the public record, once again, we, as a member of TPAC, the Treatment Plan Advisory Commission, Madam Vice Mayor, the information that I requested, public record information on the engines, speak glowingly for themselves. The main issue that TPAC will have to ask the administration is that why weren't they given proper notice that they were spending money, appropriately so, under the Cameron sole source provider contract, but they didn't notify anybody that they were really doing it. While the other corner of their mouth saying that the engines were going to be retired because of their obsolescence. It is good that the engines are now operational, but review of the months of August, September, October, November, December TPAC agendas will clearly state nothing was said about these engines being refurbished and operational, one of them in July, and then one of them in October. The other issue as to gender-specific promotions, this is going to be exegeted out over the next few weeks. Main issue is are the civil service rules and equal opportunity guidelines being followed by the city. I assert that they are not. I assert that testing, objective testing has gone out the window in lieu of the structured questionnaires or specific position recruiting. And not only that, lately, with the South Bay water recycling position that was just filled, an Asian American male with a professional engineer certificate and multiple years in the program was bypassed for somebody that only does worm composting. So I have a very significant issue with this, as well as the other issues about allowing housing permits for new housing with a state emergency drought. I think the city should show leadership in just prohibiting any new residential housing developments until we get the water supply situated. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to note and file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to note and file. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now we're down to boards, commissions, and committees. Nothing under appointments. We have something, the Arts Commission Annual Report for fiscal year 2012 and 13.
Motion to approve that.
Mr. Wall? This is F2.
F2, I'll pass. Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now move down to G. G2, documentary screening of flesh.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item G3, Retirement Board Governance Reform Strategic Work Plan.
You have one
Oh,
except for this one?
yes. Mr. Wall.
I'm very concerned that this retirement board governance could be stacked with people that basically become a rubber stamp commission. And I think that even the members of the general public, unless they're very well schooled on city operations and retirement issues and benefits, might be just a wasted appointment because they won't know what they're voting on. So I'm very concerned about that. But even more so, I'm concerned that with upper management staff within the city administration, some of their decisions are so bad that they shouldn't even be included. And so this is a very sticky wicket. Being a retiree of the city, I don't support several members of the upper administration on making any decision. In other words, they should, in my opinion, just be summarily removed from service, but that's a different issue for a different day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Constant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That includes both 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Just one quick question. I was just reading, so the analysis and research is about 14 days. So the presentation to the council of the alternatives will be the next meeting after that, so we should expect it in about 3 weeks or so on a council agenda? Or, I mean, I guess my question is it going to go in that exact order, or is the order subject to variation?
Yes, thank you, Alex Gersa, Deputy City Manager. Yeah, looking at that timeline, we may need a little bit more time given the need to get an item on the council agenda. The other thing, if I could just point out, the City Council had asked us when we developed the work plan to look at both a potential ballot measure for June and November. On page 2 of our report, it highlights that if we were going to make a June election, the City Council would have to act by the March 4th election, March 4th council meeting. So that really doesn't give sufficient time to go through all of the other steps. And so we really, because of those deadlines, it sort of defaults to a November election if a ballot measure is pursued at all. As we indicate in our memo, we're going to include other policy alternatives that we're back for the City Council for further direction.
Right. So in realistic, it'll take you 14 days to do what you need, and then it's going to take at least 14 days from the time your report comes out till we get it on a council agenda. So we're looking about a month down the line before we see it over there.
Yes, I would say that's correct, yes.
That's fine.
Okay. We are ready to approve that item, so we'll just move on. Next item is the prohibition on campaign contributions from,
Motion to defer 1 week, please.
okay. And that also came from Councilmember Herrera, who is the author of the memo. Mr. Wall, did you want to speak on this, or you want to wait until next week?
No, I wanted to give Councilmember Herrera a special accolade for this. I'm somewhat surprised that all of you didn't chime in on this and sign her memo. I think that this is very good what she's doing. My own personal opinion, this marijuana business, in my opinion, is just legalizing organized crime. Because how do these people get the product that they're selling? And if these people are that hard off, why don't they allow them to grow their own and just take the money out of it? I think this is very dangerous business here. And as this business, legitimate business, becomes more and more pronounced throughout society, which it appears to be, their economic influence will be deleterious to the democratic process. So I give accolade to Councilmember Herrera for showing some initiative here, and I'm kind of just confounded why the rest of you didn't sign on to it, because you're all good citizens and you make pretty good decisions from time to time, not always, but thank you.
Well, thanks for giving us the straight dope on that.
We have a motion to defer the item. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We're now moved down to item H, review of additions to council committee agendas and work plans, and we have 2 work plans from the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee and the Transportation and Environment
Motion
Committee.
to approve both.
Actually,
I think Councilmember Don Rocha has a memo on the.
I'd like to defer that item 1 week. I know the mayor has strong feelings on the burrowing owl, and I'd rather have him make that
Well,
decision.
the way I look at it, there's no real action for us to take. He's just asking for information from staff when it comes, so I think that the timing of it probably doesn't belong with this, but I think we should approve the work plans, and staff has the memo, and he'll have his questions to ask at the time it gets presented.
Yeah, I'm comfortable approving the work plans, but without the requested edit.
Right.
So my preference is the additional memo, wait for the mayor to come back.
Right, actually, I was saying a little different. We'll approve both work plans, and the memo's out there. He can discuss it at his committee.
Got it.
Okay. Mr. Wall?
I'll defer my comments on T&E to the public record, but for the neighborhood services, I'd like to have you ask the administration to come up with a quantifiable cost to the after-school study programs within the library structure with reference to the monies received from the parcel tax. I think it's a good idea. However, good ideas sometimes get taken to extremes, and I think there should be some quantified cost to how much money out of the library's budget is dedicated for these after-school educational programs with reference to the parcel tax. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve both items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Yeah, we're at the open forum.
Madam Vice Mayor, if I can just for 1 minute, just get clarification on, and I'm going backwards here, and I apologize, but back on the January 28th agenda, there were some requests, some adds. One of them is the pay plan for the chief and assistant chief. We need a sunshine waiver, and I just wanted to make sure that was included in the motion.
Yeah, I think I thought that when I made the motion, so, yes.
That's included in the motion. Mr. Wall? Open forum, yes.
Yes, before you is a organizational chart from the Environmental Services Department Capital Improvement Program. As you can see, it has a date of January 8th. You'll see the initials NR. NR means no records that I could find of appropriate licensure required for engineers. Now, this does not mean the records don't exist, it's just they don't exist within the state of California. All right, and there's some big problems there, Madam Vice Mayor, as you as a member of TPAC. The Capital Improvement Program for the Water Pollution Control Plant has been a grand embarrassment for the city. Hundreds of millions of dollars lying idle, and yet nothing's being done. Also, you have the issue of potentially dumping of public works engineers onto this program with reference to the amount of overhead positions allowed by the master agreement. Secondly, there's an issue that public works engineers may be getting a leg up in promotions over established engineers within the water pollution control plant framework. I have no confidence in the management of the capital improvement program at the Water Pollution Control Plant. That is a matter of record. It's a matter of record that has been a grossly mismanaged program. And for example, in 1962, President Kennedy stated that they wanted to put a man on the moon. 7 years later, they put multiple people on the moon and brought them back. In 2007, ESD said the digesters were so bad that it threatened Water Pollution Control's ability to treat sewage. To date, is there a plan in place to rehabilitate digesters, and has any digesters been rehabilitated? No. And so what type of management do we have in Environmental Services Department that governs the Water Pollution Control Plant? It's obviously not good and prudent management, and obviously looking at that org chart, thank you.
Dave Treslow?
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I hope you have the attachment here. And on it, I'm asking for two items. One is to fix the city's website. It's broken. And as an example, I did a screenshot for this meeting, and you can see what's popping up is 2012. And some of the arrows, I did verify the address is correct at the top line there, but you can see that some of the links are so, blue font on a black background, so you can't even navigate on a screen, much less see it in the paper. And there's some other deprecated information. So somebody really should go through this, the entire city website. This is just one example. I found a number of broken areas. My other reason for asking for your time is the attachment. One of the items that I've been very frustrated with is figuring out what the to-do list is for city staff. When you, our council members, allocate a task to city staff, what is the status? And we seem to have things slipping through the cracks. As an example, last May, our now city manager made a report to council on the employee suggestion program. He promised, it's in the report, to get back to council in December of last year. Well, nothing's happened. I'm sure it wasn't deliberate. I'm sure it just kind of, there were other things that cropped up. We have a number of other items that council has assigned to staff that seem to be in limbo. Nobody knows what the status is. Sunnyvale, on the other hand, has a to-do list that gets attached to every single council agenda. It's also online. And why can't we do something like that so we can keep track of things? And that's what I'm requesting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. That concludes the open forum. That concludes the meeting. We are adjourned.
I'd just say we should just refer this to the two different directions
Yeah.
for info. Thanks.